Hello, Connecting Ethiopia. Good afternoon. My name is Yifru Tafesse. I am the Deputy Director General of the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation Agency. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Perhaps to start my presentation, the Ethiopian economy pretty much dependent on agriculture. About 32% of the GDP comes from the agricultural sector, and over 85% of the export earning is also generated from agriculture. It employs over 70% of the the population, and also it's one of the the sector is pretty much dominated by smallholder farmers. 95% of the farming produce is generated from smallholder farmers. So we are pretty much an agrarian economy. However, in the past 10 years, the sector has been growing tremendously. The agricultural sector has been growing on average of 5.5% per annum, and that has been quite encouraging. But still, we have a lot to do in terms of transforming the agricultural sector. To this end, the Minister of Agriculture has embarked on reforming and bringing about a number of reform agenda. There are about 10 reform agenda items that has been presented to the Council of Ministers for ratification. The first area of policy reform has been the land use and natural resource administration. As you very well know, land and natural resource utilization is a key in this country, so we need to do also a reform in our land holding system. Technology inputs and service sector reform has been also there. We have a number of initiatives to reform in the sector also regarding technology adoption and also input provisions in the sector. Water use is another area that we have embarked on, and that has been also, the sector has been very much rain-fed. So we have embarked on irrigation schemes and water utilization policy framework. That's an area also that needs approval from the government. The other is output marketing. We have also a number of initiatives under that thematic area. So the fifth is rural transformation. We cannot envisage, transforming the agricultural sector without taking into consideration the whole holistic approach in terms of addressing issues on rural level. So that has been also one of the reform areas. Infrastructure development on rural areas is also one of the policy initiatives. Private sector development in agriculture has been also one of another area of intervention that the government would like to engage. Of course, the smallholder farmers are private owners, but we never had a huge, commercial farmers in place. And the participation of private sector across the value chain has been limited. So we want to encourage the private sector and support, to invest in the agricultural sector across the value chain. Agricultural finance is one of another area of intervention that the government would like to pursue. Although the country produces generates over 90% of the exports from agricultural sector, the finance that goes back to the agricultural sector is limited. It's less than 10%. So we have a policy reform agenda on agricultural finance. The ninth thematic area is institutional development. We need to reform institutions that support the implementation of all those policy framework, right, from federal to regional level. Institutional reform will be taking place. And another last but not least is the cross-cutting policy initiatives, such as climate and gender issues will be addressed. So in order to transform the agricultural sector, those 10 thematic areas of policy reforms have been quite instrumental, and we are awaiting the government's approval on those policy reform areas. Now, when it comes to the agricultural opportunities in this country, as I said, the sector has been is being dominated by smallholder farmers. We have little commercial number of commercial farmers investing in on this space. Therefore, the role of the private sector in investing in large-scale commercial farms is very much encouraged, and we're here to support any investor in that space. When it comes to industrial agro-processing areas, we have 4 integrated agro-industrial parks across the country that are, very much furnished with all the necessary facilities. The investors can only come and plug and operate their own factories on a number of agro-processing investment areas. For example, Ethiopia imports literally many of the quite substantial amount of agro-processing products from the Gulf countries, from Europe, from other African countries. If you take, for example, milk, we import milk, especially the UHT milk we import from Europe. We did not have a processing industry that produces this kind of quality products. We import, fruits from Europe and Middle East countries, while the country is one of the largest producer of fruits in the country, all types of fruits, in the tropical fruits in the region. So these potentials are literally untapped for potential investors, be it in fruit processing, be it in juice form or cut fruits. That's a huge opportunity that we offer to our potential investors. The packaging industry is one of the virgin areas. Little has been done so far. Packaging, we still import packaging material from Europe, from Middle East, and from other African countries. So with the growth of agro-processing products, we need to have quality packaging materials in order to export and also use for local consumption. If you take, for example, for honey processing and honey packaging, we don't have a food-graded packaging materials available in the local market. The other big opportunity area is meat processing, red meat processing. That is, despite the fact that Ethiopia is the leading producer of livestock, we still are a net importer of meat, red meat products, and there is a huge potential in the livestock sector to be it in modernized sectors to breed. That's an area for opportunities for potential investors. The other area of investment opportunities are the poultry production, both chicken and egg. Again, the local market is extremely undersupplied. We import chicken. The Ethiopian Airlines itself is a huge importer of chicken from abroad. That itself is a huge market for any investor in that space. Currently, the price of egg in this country is, I would say, is one of the most expensive, commodity on earth. An egg costs us 20 cents, and this is, I believe, is one of the highest price in the world. It's because there is no adequate supply of egg products. That's again a huge, to mention some of the huge opportunities in the market. In terms of even green field investments on agriculture, we are a net importer of grains such as wheat. We import over like $400 million of wheat per annum. So investment in wheat field is a huge opportunity for any investor interested in commercial farming. Perhaps in terms of while these are the some of the opportunities that I'm sharing, I will share a deck that we prepared in collaboration with the Ethiopian Investment Commission, some of the investment opportunity areas in agriculture and agro-processing to you. Perhaps in terms of challenges, you may anticipate, inefficient bureaucracy could be one of the challenges that you may face. But we at the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation have been supporting plenty of investors, both local and international investors, in terms of navigating through the bureaucracy. We've been providing handhold services. I myself joined the Ethiopian Agricultural Transformation Agency as a director for private sector development in agriculture. And I've been supporting such as wort malt and soufflet of the world. These are the top 5 giant producer of malts in the world, and they both have invested in Ethiopia. It's mainly because of support we have provided to those giant institutions. We've been supporting them through the investment ecosystem and through the bureaucracy in order to smoothen their and facilitate the investment process. So we will support any investor in agriculture and agro-processing that is that joins the Ethiopian investment opportunity. So it won't be a problem in terms of the bureaucratic hurdles that you may have. But just to highlight some of the challenges that you may anticipate. So we have lengthy process and inefficient bureaucracies. Of course, if you come short, perhaps shortage of foreign currency is a problem for local investors, but for any foreign investor that comes with a foreign currency, it won't be a problem at all. Shortage of power is another area that you may face, but again, if you are investing in integrated agro-industrial parks, there is a secured power line to those industry parks. If you are interested to invest out of the industrial parks, again, we will provide the necessary support to make sure you are connected with the power grid. And hopefully the power shortage won't be a big problem come the GERD project operational, sometimes perhaps middle of this next year. That won't be a lasting problem as such. Security issue has been some of the challenges that has been raised so far. Yes, in the past there has been sporadic security issues here and there, but thanks to our firm government commitments, we have now after the election we will have a solid and stable Ethiopia. So that won't be a problem because we have still a number of investors, both local and foreign, that are operating in Ethiopia, and recently you might have noticed there has been nothing as far as their investment properties are concerned. So that it's the government's priority and commitment to make sure all investors interests are protected appropriately. So these are some of the risks and challenges you may face, but again, as far as the bureaucracy, lengthy, inefficient processes, land issues all those problems are going to be addressed with our reforms that we have embarked. So I think this is just a high-level explanation that I'm providing. Please feel free to connect with me with my email address to Connect Ethiopia, and I will share also some of the investment opportunities that we have developed in collaboration with the Ethiopian Investment Commission to you. So for further analysis. I thank you very much, and have a good evening.